What's going on, everybody? It's CryptoVision here, back again with the midweek macro update. We got some green on the charts. People are happy. People are celebrating. Over here, we're staying grounded. We're staying disciplined. We're going to be checking out various charts like we normally do, checking out the macro, bringing in some data just to see where we're at, what we're doing. As always, I thank you for your support. I thank you for your time wherever you are, neutral, bullish, bearish, whatever you are. I thank you for stopping by and supporting this channel. If you're interested in a free Discord, I offer that. Nice community, bearish, bullish, neutral, pretty chill, laid back. If you're looking for an in-depth analysis throughout the week, chart updates, premium videos on Fridays, trade indicators, things like that, I offer a paid Patreon. As always, I thank you for your support. Without further ado, let's get into it. So we got Bitcoin dominance here on the weekly chart. We're going to be looking at the weekly charts. And, as I've been saying for a while, if you're new to the channel, what I've been saying is, your MACD has looked pretty bearish, where you have this, you could say bullish momentum. You could say price action, like some bullish price action, a little bit, just a little bit here and there. But it's kind of fluttered. And now we are getting that cross down below, which is beautiful. Okay, so we got that. Okay, what we got here is we have higher highs on RSI through here, and we have lower highs on price. So that's hidden bearish divergence, okay, on the weekly chart. That's why we're looking at the weekly chart, because it has more value, it has more merit when you're looking at these divergences, when you're looking at my indicators, right? When you're up through here in this overbought area, we are looking for lower prices. If this was an asset, are we entering up through here? No, we are not. Right? Paid Patreon members know we're not entering up through here or through here or through here. We're not doing that. Okay, we're looking for fair value. We're looking for good value. We're looking for great value. Okay, so right now we're waiting on Bitcoin dominance to close below the 100 EMA, which, I mean, you tell me, you probably have better eyes than I do. It's resting right on there. It's quite literally resting right on the 100 week EMA. We had that. The reason why we're looking to close down below here and not just that 20 and 50 is because it's already happened, right? We had this idea where you'd come down through here, close, and break down. But now what we got is, you kind of wicked. You did close, but we're looking for a full body candle close. Okay, so it is, it's resting right on there. Can't really make a decision yet, but I think it's just a ticking time bomb. At this point, I think Bitcoin dominance is waiting to, fall through the metaphorical floor. Okay, so I do believe that, it is a matter of time. I do. We're waiting on that. We're waiting to see what we can do. And then, so where do we expect Bitcoin dominance to go? Possibly down to this 49, all the way down to 38% range, down through here somewhere. Okay, where did it go last time when it fell through? Well, it came down to this golden range. Not to the very bottom, but it came down to the golden range. So if we're being conservative, we can say 49 to midway through 42%. What kind of drop is that? That is a 26 to 20% drop, right? 26 to 20% drop. Just for context, what do we have in November? We had, I think it was 11%. Maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, 11%. Okay. Up through here, July, we had 13%. So essentially almost double of what either one of those that occurred already happened. So whatever your price action did, that's what it's looking like. Okay, so we got green on the charts, but we can't be bullishly biased just because we got a little bit of green on the charts. There's so many key levels to break. We need continuation. We need healthy movement. We can't just give it up tomorrow. We can't just come back and, be tomorrow we're at lower prices than we were today. Right? We have to defeat the weekly opens. We have to start making bullish moves and building bullish structure. If we're looking at Bitcoin versus gold, yes, we got that green dot. We got that green dot right through here. I know you see it. If I see it, you see it. We've talked about, Bitcoin versus gold for a while. We have bullish divergence. So what we have through here is we have a higher low. Okay. And what do we have here? We have a lower low. Lower low. And last but not least, we have lower lows. Okay. So 3 indicators, check, check, check. Confirm that we have hidden bullish divergence on the weekly chart spanning from December of 2022 all the way to March, pretty much March of 2026. 4 years. 4 years, right? This is something that doesn't happen often, and when it finally takes price action, when it finally acts on that, it's going to be violent. It's going to be violent. I do believe so. I do believe it's going to be violent. So like we've been saying for a while, it's down in this gold zone. You dip down through here, and what'd you do? You found that bottom and you got out of here. Where are we right now? Looking to find a bottom and get out of here, right? We have 5 waves to the downside. We have a completed 3-wave move, right? So you have this, A, B, come down here for a C, for an A, B, C. And now you're looking for at least 3 waves up. Maybe right back to that overpriced zone once we get up there. Maybe de-risk a little bit. Maybe you do need a 1-2, right? You didn't just go, did you just go from here and teleport up? No, you didn't, right? You didn't do that. What'd you do? You came up and you kind of came back down for a nice 1-2. And then you went up and then you came back. And then you went up, right? It's not just straight up. It's not just straight down, right? We've been straight down for a while. And the people that are claiming that we're going to 30,000 think that it's the charts only go down, charts only go up, right? They're inverse permabulls, right? Inverse permabulls. What we got here is Bitcoin. We had the idea where if we don't find a low here, if we don't break a certain level, right? There's a certain level up through here that if we don't break it, we are going to see lower prices down through here somewhere. All right, it's like that 57 to 58,000. If you can't defeat the levels up that we've been talking about on Discord and Patreon. So you are below all of your EMAs, right? You are below all of your EMAs, but you're in a fair value region. You are in a fair value region. So can we bounce from here? Yeah, of course. I think we can. Do we need to come back down? No, we don't. You kind of got, until you defeat the weekly. Okay, so right now it's looking pretty. If this can turn green, that's looking pretty bullish. That is looking pretty bullish. That would be an inverted, version of, I don't know, something like this. Something like, there's not really a ton. Something like this. That would be the inverted version, where you're just wicking up to the upside. All right, we can zoom in over here. We're just kind of just where you wicked up, came back, wicked up, and then came back down. So for us, we're looking like we're wicking down, and we're coming back up. We're wicking down, and then we're coming back up. Right? If we invert this, like this, you're trying to reach up, get slammed down. Trying to reach up, get slammed down, start falling through. So, all right, it's been on a tear. This is the weekly chart. It's been on a tear. It has. It really, really, really has. And so what we have here is you have a clear 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-wave move. You have a 5-wave move. Now you need a move to the downside. Maybe come into this trend line down through here, and then rejecting. We have some other key levels, but right now, fair value for Bitcoin. DXY, we've been tracking the DXY for a while. We do, it's kind of just doing its own thing. There's not really, it's kind of just been going sideways, right? What is that right now? It's at 97. It was at 97 in April of 2025. Okay, so you kind of just been trading through this range, almost down through this range too. And so on this channel, we have the idea that the dollar is being extremely devalued against precious metals, and then soon it'll be devalued against Bitcoin. All right, because in order to defeat a $34 trillion debt that the United States has, we have to devalue the currency that we owe. I mean, it'll just make the most sense, right? If let's say your buddy, you and your buddy, you owe your buddy something, and let's say it's beer. I don't know, beer, money, whatever it is, right? Let's say you owe them something. and a lot of it. Let's say you owe, uh, I don't know. I would say bought. Let's say, um, let's say beer, right? Let's say beer. Let's say you owe them $100 worth of beer, right? You would want that beer, right? Let's say it's, for a 12 pack, it's $15 or whatever. For, 30 rack, it's, $20. You'd want that 30 rack to come down and be less valuable, right? You buy it, and so you have to spend less money to give back what you owe, right? You owe beer, you don't owe money. Okay, so you want whatever you're providing back to that person that you owe to be less, right? So you can give them back something that's less valuable than when they gave it to you, right? So that's it could be a terrible analogy. It's just off the top of my head. So crucify me in the comments, do what you will. But that's the idea. We owe the Fed, the Fed Reserve, right? A private entity that prints up its own money, has its, we can get into it. It's a lot of people that built that bank got rich off the First and Second World War, right? It's highly documented that, very, very rich people, benefited, or they got rich and benefited from those wars, right? And so what they did is they began a private bank, very large bank, with their funds, and they started loaning money out to people, and then they started loaning money out to the government, and it hasn't stopped since. And it's actually gotten worse, and it's gotten worse, and it's gotten worse. And so we owe people money, when you really think about it, because the Fed is private, right? That's why the president can't, fire the governor or the chair, right? Can't fire the chair, because it's separate powers, okay? And so this private entity essentially owns America, right? If we're really thinking about it, it owns America. And so for the United States to then, claw our way out of debt, what we need to do is devalue the currency that they have been backed by, that they are backed by. They're not backed by gold, right? What happened to Fort Knox? We can get into that later, but right, their currency is the US dollar, and it's not only the United States that is trying to devalue the dollar, it's the world, right? The world is trying to devalue the dollar. China is trying to devalue the dollar. China is going heavy on precious metals and cryptocurrency. And India is going heavy on cryptocurrency and precious metals. And so what these countries are doing is they're trying to separate themselves from the private entity that owns America, and so that they can receive funds from an asset that isn't being devalued, because they see what's going on. They see that the United States is devaluing the dollar, and so they don't really want to be tied to something that is slowly losing value, that will eventually be forgotten. They want to be tied to something like gold, where, hey, you know what? We want our payments in gold. We want our payments in silver. We want our payments in Bitcoin. We want our payments in stable coins, whatever it may be. Something that isn't just printed out of thin air and is, essentially worthless, right? Something that has, an inherent value, that has a limited supply, so that, the goal is to own 100% of that supply, because there isn't any more. So if you own 100% of that supply, you control how much it's worth, right? And so it's pretty much like the diamond business, right? These large companies, they buy up tons and tons and tons of diamonds. They have vaults. They release only a certain amount of diamonds, so that you control the supply, so that the demand stays high, right? If the supply goes crazy, the demand isn't going to be there, right? Because they're everywhere. You can get diamonds everywhere. The price will drop, things of that nature. So it's no different than gold, silver, Bitcoin, stable coins, things of that nature. So sorry for that tangent, that segue, but that's what we do on this channel, okay? So that's essentially what's going on with the DXY. It's not the exact value of the dollar. The dollar isn't worth $97. No, this is the dollar measured against gold, silver, copper, commodities, oil, things of that nature. So that's what we got. Ethereum, I made a short on this if you want to go check out the short. All right, last couple times we went through here, down in this gold zone. Ethereum bounced. I've actually entered a trade in Ethereum. It's looking great. Part of the Profit Lab series is a Patreon membership. So, it's not always about just making the most bang on your buck. It's asset preservation, looking for entries, looking for exits, making sure that your portfolio stays alive, right? It's not just, oh, I made, taking screenshots of I made, 150%. Well, it's how about let's hit some singles and doubles. Let's make 20%, 30%, 40%, 60%. Then you can maybe hit 100%, 200% one, then back to 10%, 15%. Just making money, right? Because profits never hurt the pockets, and that's what the Profit Lab series is about. So if you're interested in something like that, that's what we go through. So Ethereum's looking very good, looking very bullish. Others chart green, right, bouncing off right off that trend line. Really need to get above, right? This is cooling on the MACD, so you got higher lows and you got lower lows. Okay, so higher lows, lower lows, which is good. So now we need that cross, build up some momentum. We don't need bullish momentum to be slammed back down. We don't need this. We don't need this, and we don't need this. That is some bullshit. We don't need that. So we are looking for a bounce up through here, come up through here, build a 1-2, and then go. It's not going to go from up straight up. I'm not a channel that's going to say we're going straight up. We're going to need a 1-2 setup, and this is the most dangerous move up through here, not the 1-2. This move up through here, because then it could be over. Could be over. You could have lower highs, right? You could have lower highs. You could have technically an A, you come up for a B, and then you have to come down for a C. If the market makers really wanted to be dirty and nasty and take us for a ride, that could happen for sure. So I'm not bearish down here. I'll be bearish up here. Not bearish, but I'll be asset preservation will be on high alert. And so, we'll be talking about that in the Discord and the Patreon. So we'll check that out. In terms of the total chart, we're gonna do the total chart. We changed up this pattern because it broke so bad, so we're looking at this megaphone pattern. Right now it is, since we're at the lows, it is bullish, right? It is bullish, but then once you get up to the highs, it becomes very bearish, very, very, very bearish. It's just such a stark contrast, right? When you come up through here, it's, if you don't break out, then your next target is a lower low, right? So that's why this is at the lows, it's a bullish pattern, right? The lows, it's bullish, very, very, very bullish. At the highs, it's very worrisome, because if you do reject up through here, you're looking for lower lows, okay? So, and a long way down, right? A long way down time-wise. So, waiting on that green dot. It did flash earlier this week. Like I said, the Patreon members, they get all the green dots that flash. They've been going crazy. Right, they've been going crazy, so we've gotten all these, even red dots. I have red dots on there, but all of these have been flashing. So we're looking for a bottom, right? We're looking for a bottom somewhere. Total 3, same concept, down at the lows. Still kind of overvalued, kind of dipped into fair value, but still overvalued. We're looking for that bounce. Pardon me, that caught me off guard. Looking for that bounce. Like I said, you dipped right into that fair value range, which is great. Got eaten right up. So we're looking to come right back up again. That's what we're looking to do. Come right back up to that overpriced, overextended, highly overextended range. And then looking to scale out. You got this little bit of green on the stochastic, on my indicator. We are looking like we want to be bullish. We're bullishly postured. We're looking like we want to be bullish. Are we bullish yet? Well, long term, yes. This channel is bullish long term on risk on assets. Anything that is against the dollar, I'm bullish on. All right, I'm highly against the dollar. And I already gave you the reasons why. Highly against the dollar. Do I care if it takes a year from now? No. 2 years from now? No. I don't want to be tied and have savings and things of that is strictly in the dollar, because it's worthless. Right? I want to invest in things that I think will be valuable, that can be used to, if the dollar is becoming worthless, okay, what can be replaced as the dollar? Well, it can't be gold, it can't be silver. That can back the value of something that we're using, but it could be crypto, right? It could be crypto, and I think it is going to be crypto, right? I think it'll be backed by gold, silver, and copper, possibly uranium as well. So those four, the 4 horsemen. We can get into that later too. Drop a comment if you want me to get into that stuff too. But this chart right here has been extremely bullish. We've been tracking this chart for a very long time. We're above all the EMAs. We're right below that 200. We're right below that 200. Could I see a possible bounce back through here, then test again? Yeah, of course. I actually wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't mind that in the fact that after, close on February, close up through here, and I'll give you the reason why. What happened to my stuff on the monthly? There we go. So if we close above 1.21 on the monthly, we're closing on almost an ad of an Eve. You can call it an Eve pattern. You can call it whatever you want. Use your definition to call it whatever you want. What I'm saying is bullish, right? What I'm saying is bullish. When you come down through here and you're looking like this, that is bullish. When you're above the moving average on the RSI, that is bullish. Okay, so we just need some momentum up through here. Close above the 10.21 million and start rocking and rolling, right? This is a very bullish pattern. Something very similar to this. This is more of a bottoming pattern, more of a clear bottoming pattern, more of a controlled bottoming pattern, and that's kind of what crypto's kind of been. It's been controlled, it's been boring, it's been concise, but that's what we got on the monthly chart. It looks great, looks extremely bullish. So 10.21, that's what we're looking to close above. USDT.D, we're looking at the weekly. No, that's a bearish chart right through there. That's a bearish chart. So we got a red dot. We're overbought. Okay, overbought, red dot. MACD, we're losing MACD. We have almost a lower high. We do. We have lower highs on the MACD. We have higher highs. This chart right here looks very bearish, very bearish. This is essentially inverse of the total crypto chart. This is pretty much what it is, right? This is inversely of the total crypto chart. When you get something up through here, if total crypto is looking like this, yeah, I'm bearish. I'm getting out. I'm selling some of my my assets for sure. When you got this, shooting star candle through here, I mean, it's still Wednesday. This thing can flip around. We know USDT.D, especially if you're new to the channel, maybe not. But if you're an OG, if you're a veteran of the channel, we've been covering this thing since day one. It's been the most resilient chart I have seen in my entire lifetime. It defeats bearish divergence with vengeance. It takes no prisoners. There's nothing that this chart can't overcome. And so that's what we're looking for. We're looking for stablecoin dominance to get rejected up through here. So that's what we got for stablecoin dominance. Gold and silver, we're looking for gold and silver to kind of top out, right? It's pretty overextended. Same thing with silver, okay? Pretty overextended. So, do I see silver being in A, B, C? Yes, I do. Coming down through here to this fair value. I do. To this light pink area. So, that's what I do. You got bearish divergence. You come up through here, triple bearish divergence. Not the greatest look. So I think, when JP Morgan says that gold is about to hit 6,000 at the highs, yeah, that's highly suspicious. Sorry about that. Highly suspicious. So in terms of everything, that's what I got for gold and silver. Let me get rid of that too. Gold and silver, I do think they're a little bit overbought. I don't think the bull run is over, but I do think they need a correction. Multi-week, multi-month correction, come back down and then come up. So, as always, if you are interested in the free Discord, right, it'll be linked in the description below. I kind of talked about it a little bit throughout the video. As always, Patreon, if you're interested in something deeper, a little bit more value, if you're more interested in learning how to trade, learning how to invest, learning how to read a market, things like that, that's more so your style. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for your time. I hope you have a great rest of your week. As always, take it easy. Peace.